I hope this recording finds you well. After sharing my reflection on not leaving, or before you leave, you take a bit of your time and reflect a little bit to know what you mean to the other person. Of course, there has been a couple of questions here and there, whether did I mean that people should never leave, or did I just mean that people should stick into even toxic relationships? Of course, I want to clarify that. What I meant with this reflection is that you don't just wake up and leave someone. It's good to know that you mean something to them. And so together with them, if there is any challenge, walk through it. If there is any conflict, walk through it. So that if possible, you can restore the relationship because you mean so much to that particular person, or they mean so much to you. And so the moment you uproot them out of your life, you have basically uprooted your whole foundation. That's what I meant, and that was my perspective. However, this is not to say that people should not leave. In fact, if you found yourself in a relationship that there are no common values at all, there is nothing that you share in common, I honestly wouldn't want to tell you to stay in that kind of relationship, unless you're there to save. If you're there to save, then that's fine. That's a different kind of approach. But if for sure you're there with this person, you want to receive, or you want them to reciprocate what you give to them, that is the kind of relationship that you have, then honestly you cannot stay in a relationship that doesn't have any common value whatsoever. For example, if in your relationship you don't believe in gossip, and then your friend is constantly gossiping about other people, it's clear that they are gossiping about you too when they meet other people. Because values is not something that we switch on and switch off anytime we want. Values is something that we have consistently. So if I am a kind person, I'm a kind person consistently. If I am a gossiper, then I'm a gossiper constantly. So I may not gossip you when I'm with you because I'm with you. But when I leave, I will definitely gossip because I'm used to gossiping about other people. So that is what I mean about the values. For example, if it's a relationship, you have a values of fidelity in this case, and then you have gotten together with someone who is not able to get over their ex, they are still connected with each other. Maybe you've gotten into a relationship with someone who is chatting or flirting with this girl, the girl, this boy, the boy. I mean, clearly, you have no common values. It doesn't matter how handsome this guy looks. It doesn't matter the figure this lady possesses. It doesn't matter how gifted. It doesn't matter how rich. It doesn't matter whatever else that this person possesses. If the fundamental value of fidelity is not upheld, then you have no reason to stay in such a relationship. If, for example, you get into a relationship and there is a sense of abuse, and abuse, sometimes we tend to think is when someone uses very bad or vulgar, whatever language. But abuse can be anything. Abuse can be you not being there for me, you not wanting to grant me any time, any moment. That is already abuse. Sometimes also people think of violence, and violence is when someone has hit you. Not really. In fact, the moment you notice that someone is holding you and clinging to you, with a lot of anger, let me tell you, it's just a matter of time. They will find their way in beating you up. And so when you see those indicators, just leave immediately. You don't need to stay in such a relationship. Let me tell you, from my experience as a therapist and from the studies that are out there, you will realize that actually 75% or even 85% of what will happen in the future of the relationship is already happening when you're dating. What I mean is, if someone will be abusive to you in the future, you will see some traces of that. If someone will not be respecting you, you can see how they disrespect other people, even as you date. And therefore, clearly that tells you they will disrespect you too one day. And so when I meant that do not just leave yet, is to mean that you have already a relationship that is existing. And this relationship probably has been quite good and very fulfilling, but then something has just happened, or you're going through a certain crisis in your life. So instead of withdrawing from the life of the other person, it's better to invite them and let them know that I am going through this and I am constantly feeling a sense of isolation. I don't feel like I want to meet people. I don't feel like I want to open up and share what it is that I'm going through. So if that is what you're going through yourself, open up and share, and then the other person will know where you are. If someone has wronged you in one or the other, it's important you open up to them and tell them, hey, you know what? Whatever you did, I felt disrespected. Whatever you did, I felt like you don't love me, you don't honor me, you don't honor our friendship. So open up about it, and if the person persists in the wrong path, then of course you can open up and decide to leave. So I did not mean that you stick there. I just meant that it's good to explore a little bit before you just leave. Now, of course, there is toxicity in relationship. For example, if someone doesn't give you a chance to express yourself, or if, for example, someone manipulates you. It's clear that you don't want to stay in a manipulated kind of a relationship, because you didn't marry to get manipulated. You didn't get into that intimate relationship to be manipulated. You got there so that you can be valued, so that you can also give a value to the other person. But the moment you see manipulation in the relationship, just to know that it is time for you to actually begin either leaving, or you disable completely that manipulation. How do you disable manipulation? For example, if someone tells you something like, you have to do this for me to be able to do this. Let's say, for example, you have to you have to keep this secret. Let's say, for example, someone abused you in some way or was violent to you, and tells you, for me to stay, you got to not to tell anyone about what has happened. I have changed. I will never do it again. But I also want you to promise that you will not tell anyone. Now, the moment they tell you that, they are telling you that for me to love you, for me to continue being with you, even though I have abused you, you still need to cover me up. Now, let me tell you, one of the greatest mistakes we make in life is covering up the mistake of the other person. The moment you cover up, then it means you have given them a fertile soil for that behavior to be nurtured and to grow, because they know they can continue with their behavior and you will continue to cover up. There is, of course, the beginning of a certain behavior where, for example, someone has started abusing substance and they are so much afraid that they don't want their parent to know. That there is that initial cover-up whereby you are telling someone, you know what, you don't need to continue drinking because this is not good for you. You don't continue abusing substances because it's not good for you. But tell them from the beginning that, you know what, if this continues, and I've given you a bit of time, if this continues, be sure it won't be out there, and do not expect that I will cover you up. Now, the moment they realize that, they will either work on themselves, or if the behavior continues, they know the repercussion of that behavior. I usually say that sometimes it's good to allow people, even those that we love, it's good to allow them to experience the consequences of their choices. Why? Because choices have consequences always. And sometimes one of the greatest lessons in this life is actually learning from your own repercussion of what it is that you've done. So sometimes we come in too fast and we interject too fast before people have learned from their own mistakes. So instead of covering up, it's good to allow people to experience full consequences of their own choices. That really helps a lot. A relationship, it means we are relating, and if we are relating, we're relating as peers, unless it is a relationship of a mentor and a mentee. That one is understood, or a spiritual director and a directee. That is understandable, or a boss and a subject, if you can put it so. That is understandable. But if it is a relationship where it's a friendship, then it's supposed to be a peer kind of a relationship where I am present, you're present, I honor you, you honor me, I love you, you love me, I protect you, protect me. It's a relationship of givenness, where I give, you give. And so do not ever persevere in a relationship of that nature when someone is not honoring you, when someone is not loving you, when someone is not is actually telling you have to work for you to be loved. In fact, the moment you notice that someone wants you to work for you to be loved, that is the moment actually you need to begin exiting. So leaving means you have gotten to a place that no common value that you have, and that's why you've chosen to leave. You're not leaving because you don't love this person. You have left because you have nothing in common. So relationships are beautiful, but they give you what you give them. Thank you.